I added some more of that yellow to the daffodils, to all the petals. They look much prettier now. And another little bit of white to these petals of the daisies. And that will make them clearer. And then I'm going to add the same mixture of yellow, a light yellow, lemon yellow, to the hollyhocks. And I might add a little orange to that, so that will create a nice soft colour. So that's basically how the daisies are going to look. I'm going to come in with some green around here and just shape the background with a light sap green. I've lightly covered the canvas with yellow and orange to form the hollyhocks, and I will do the outlines tomorrow. I added some all the way down, and here I've gone over the green with more of the light mixture of sap green and a few highlights here and there, not everywhere. The green can't all look the same like that. I'm leaving dark, that I'm leaving dark, and here some of them I'm leaving dark. And then I'm going to go over with just the plain cool green without any white. There will be some coming through. Just go over the little patches of green that form the background of grass and stuff that's growing in between. So I sort of did one direction yesterday in the dark, and today I'm doing it in the other direction. And then over that I'll go over in lighter still, if I do find that this is not sap green in the morning, which I don't think it is, then I will add some sap green as well. So just to make different layers of colours in the background to form foliage. I found my quinacridone rose, and that was the best colour to make this rose the colour I wanted it. So I went over with mostly the paint on its own in the petals, and then I went over with a little layer of white just below the tips of the petals, just so that the tips would remain the dark colour and then the rest would be the lighter colour. And then I put back the orange where I had orange before, but it wasn't bright enough, and I still need to put back the yellow there. And then I need to do the same on the other roses, which I'm going to do now. And then I had deleted all the colours of the carnations. I didn't like them, and I've used a very light mixture of the quinacridone rose and white. And once that's a bit drier, I will outline the petals in a pure quinacridone rose without any white added. And then I use the darker yellow to outline the hollyhocks, and then I use the darker orange to make the centers again. So I'm going to need to get more light yellow to bring the petals in. I might need to just sort of divide them a little bit with the dark yellow. And then I put more orange on the dahlias, and I did put more yellow on the daffodils, but it's not really showing very much. I think I'll need to do another yellow. Full bit brush, although it's a bit bigger than I need, but it's a 16, so it's not going to really do the petals the way I want them. See, because I have to do it like that, just to add a slightly brighter white and reshape the petals so that there is white in the background, a green in the background, and the petals are to the fore. And then I'm going to need to add sap green all over, because even though I did add a lot of green yesterday, it's not covered as much as I want. I've added another layer of blue, of ultramarine blue, mixed with white, and also over the pink that I had in the corner. So it's got a nice variation of colours from light to dark there. And so I'll just carry on with the... Oh, it's coming off. And I do love leaves. I think the poor leaves don't get enough attention. They're not just something in the background. A garden without leaves is very bleak. And when I go for my walks, I also look at the leaves. I look at the different colors, the different textures. I love the variegated leaves, but even in the trees, the dark green leaves and then the lighter green and the silvery gray, they're each just beautiful in their own way, in their own right. I mean, there's no a world without green. It's a very grey world, so not one that I would want to be in. So I think that looks a whole lot better now. With my hollyhocks, I decided I'm not going to try and outline inside the petals in yet dark yellow. I had already done that in the outside of the petals, so I simply took white and dragged it down, and that naturally made the petal shapes. And with the hollyhocks, they're not, it's a whole flower and you don't see separate petals. It's one whole flower, unlike the carnations, which are separate petals, and the daffodils, which are separate petals. Sometimes they look like they're one flower because they're overlapping, but they're very distinctly separate petals. Here it's each, there's a single flower, or there's multiple flowers on one stalk, but they each are their own flower without separate petals, just like frilly markings. So, but anyway, there are many different color hollyhocks. There's red, there's yellow, there's apricot, there's peach, there's pink, there's even a black, and different reds and plum, deep plum. They say there isn't a blue, but I have seen a picture of a blue one. So whether it was a real one or not, I don't know, but it looked very real to me. Because there are mauves, so I would imagine, and there's black, so I would imagine there would be a blue. But I suppose the mauve could be, seen as blue depending on the light. Anyway, I just thought that's interesting. So I thought maybe I could do the same for my carnations, but without actually making the marks, just do sort of put the brush down and drag a bit of white down, and that would automatically make an outline the way it has on the hollyhocks, but I don't think it really will, because they are very distinctly separate. Even though they're many, it's one flower, they're many petals, but they're not layered the way the rose petals are layered. They're layered really one on top of each other, and I don't know, they form a very sort of tight bunch. You can't really see them separately from each other like you're seeing them here. Unless you look very closely. But what can outline? The frilly outer layer looks darker than the inner layer, but again you get all different types, so I'll see how this looks. If it doesn't look nice, I'll do the others with the darker. Although I wanted the pink actually to be lighter than it currently is. Because the carnations I had in mind were very, very soft pink. With this fine brush, size, I think I did mention it before, now I can't see it, size 0, stamens into the centers of each flower that needed them, not all the flowers, and then I've got some ultramarine blue on my brush now, and I'm going around these bluebells because I want the outlines to be just a bit clearer. I had added some violet mixed with white on top just to also soften the blue color a bit, and now I want to just show that they have that look of, this is the front of, and that's the back. And also in the daffodils, I added these little stamens into the part which I had made yellow, into that center part, just so that was a bit more detail. And I just think that all the detail adds to the prettiness of it. It seems like now that the white is settling into the carnations, that the shapes of the petals are almost coming out on their own. So maybe I won't need to outline them at all. I'll see, I'll leave it for now. And I'll carry on doing these outlines of the bluebells, and then put some more green in. And then I added another dahlia up there because it looked a bit sort of I don't know, just uneven. I wanted the flowers to be coming down like that, so I needed to add that flower, and now I need to wait for it to dry a little before I add some white. It's a bit too dark. I've done a lot of things. I added a lot of different colors in different places. Where should I start? I added some light violet grey around the petals of the daisies. I added some of the same color around the petals of these purple mauve daisies, and eventually turned them quite deep purple. So with my Fulart brush, I'm coming back and adding in a second layer over the petals of the daisies. So you can see the violet grey underneath, which made the outline. So now this is going to partly obscure that. So those are the underneath petals, and that would make sense because they're a bit darker. And just to give a fuller look, and it's not the right size Fulart, so I can't just lay the brush down like I normally do. I'm using the side of the brush, but you can get as good a shape. Just requires a bit of concentration and effort. With my vision, it's like a bit of a pain. I can't see where I'm going after a while. So that looks more or less full enough for that one, and then I'll do the others. I made a lot of changes, and I removed everything that I had done on the carnations, and then I took the Fulart brush with a mixture of white and pink on it, and I just made soft, gentle movements all around, which almost created the petals. But I've just come back with a little bit more quinacridone rose to fan out the centers and to show the depth of the flowers. And also I realized that, you know, they have many more layers of petals than roses, so it's really hard to show all of that in such a tiny painting. And I had to try again, and so that's what I've done. And you'll see now I'm making these markings, but the markings won't stay. The markings are going to just be there to fan out the color. I'm using this very thin brush, and I'm almost following the markings that are there from the Fulart brush. And I think it's going to look a whole lot better. I mean, I almost could have left it just as it was. If I'd had more pink on and there were more pink markings, I might have done that. Something like that one is almost fine just as it is. But what I'm going to do here is just fan that sort of to the center, and then it softens it out a whole lot. And that just shows like the striations of the pink. This one's darker than the others, being at the bottom. So here I'll do it like this as well. Okay, there's too much pink there, I'll have to fan that out. But the idea is really to create as many thin layers of petals as possible. That's the completed painting, and I think you can see I've added a lot of detail. There's a ladybird there, which I really had a fight with. It ruined my daisy, so I had to redo the daisy. And I think I'll still have to add the black dots on, because when I added them on, obviously into the red, wet red paint, it just ruined the red, and then the black wasn't visible. So I'll leave the white dots on, and once it's dry, I'll add the black dots on. But for now, I think I've done enough detail, and I'm not going to do anything more besides that. The longer I look at it, obviously, the more I find fault with it, and the more I want to change things. But I'm very happy now with the carnations. I think that's just the look I wanted, and it's very similar to what I had in the other painting. And I added a bird. It's not a robin redbreast, it's a nightingale, just a brown bird with a few little highlights here and there, and a butterfly with a mixture of yellow and orange, not a specific fine detailed color. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll come back and watch my future paintings. So please comment and like and subscribe if you haven't already. Bye for now.